Good morning again. Thank you for joining us today for the Unirac live installation training. Will be joining us in 1 second. Before we get started, if you look at your screen, there are product sheets are available under the handout section, under that screen. Q&A will be at the end of the training, and you'll see it on the right. This session will be recorded and will send out to all people that register the recording. My name is Michael Goldberg, and I'm the Director of Marketing at CED Green Tech. I don't know how most of you know CED Green Tech, but those that don't know CED Green Tech, I invite you to get to know us. We're the largest solar distributor in North America. We distribute solar, electrical, and renewable energy equipment. We have 65 locations nationally. Orlando is a major hub for the entire Southeast. So I do invite you to get to know us. Afterwards, if you have any questions, you can email us and we can start those conversations. We have our own fleet of trucks that roll every single day, pulling inventory locally to all locations nationally. We have a star-studded group of people here today for this training. I want to introduce you to Connor Morrison. He's been with Unirac for about 9 years. He is very technically savvy, and he's going to be your moderator today. He's a product manager at Unirac. Connor, so nice to meet you this morning.
Yeah, and you hear me? All right, cool.
Yes.
We're live. We good? Sweet. All right, I can hear myself in this. Yeah, as Michael mentioned, I'm Connor Morrison with Unirac Residential Product Manager. With me is Tom Talmadge. We got a couple of people here, which is super cool. Can you all hear me, or do I need to? I can speak up. Yeah. All right. Cool. So we got some cool people here, and then thanks for letting us do this demonstration in Orlando. We've got a lot of products to quickly go over, so I'll just kind of jump straight into it, unless you have any questions to start this off. We good? Beautiful. All right, so we're going to start with our solar mount system. It's our rail system. We've done a lot of upgrades to it over, I would say, probably the last year and a half. So the rail system is sort of the one you're used to, but we've made some upgrades to our attachments as well as our clamps. We've come out with a full suite of electric EBOS accessories that I'll be showing to you as kind of Tom goes. Tom's right now just working on the layout, getting everything laid out. While he does that, I'll talk through some of the product updates that we've made. The biggest, I would say, and I'm going to go ahead and start with our FlashLoc DUO. This is a new version of our FlashLoc technology. If you're not familiar with our FlashLoc technology, it is a product that doesn't require a traditional metal flashing. Instead, you lag this down to the roof, and I can kind of show this on camera as well. But you lag this product down to the roof, and once it's in place, you inject a sealant into it, sealing off your attachment, and then you install as you normally would with a standard T-bolt you put in the rail. It saves a lot of time and effort on the roof. You're not damaging the roof by prying up shingles. You're not down on the roof trying to spend time doing that, so you're saving some time. It's a lot quicker way of doing your attachments. FlashLoc DUO is an exciting improvement on that technology because it's now a hybrid attachment. What I mean by that is you can go straight to a rafter, or you can go direct to deck with it using a couple additional screws. The way that works is, and I'll show this to the camera, and then I can kind of pass it around for you guys if you guys want to see it a little closer. There are 2 mounting points where you put your first 2 screws. If you're mounting this to a rafter, those are the only 2 screw holes you use. And at that point, you would inject your sealant through this port until it ejects out of a very small port that you can't really see from that far away. Once it ejects, your reservoir on it is full, and you're good to go, and you're good to keep installing. If you want to use this product direct to deck, there are 4 sort of indents on this product. You'd use additional screws, drive straight through that into the roof with six screws, and then you can use this direct to deck. That's super useful if you're using a strange roof where it's just really hard to install on a rafter. Maybe you've got horizontal rafters, or maybe you just miss a cantilever and you need one more attachment to take you out to the end of the system. Otherwise, you have to hit the next rafter and have rails sticking out, which doesn't look super great. It's useful for that application as well. And some folks, yeah, if you just go straight direct to deck, that's an option. It's available in dark and mill. It is kitted the same way our current FlashLoc is kitted. So you get your deck screws. This will come with 2 deck screws. If you need additional deck screws, we do sell those. And you can get those in. We kind of let you guys decide how many screws you're going to need, whether you're going to rafter or if you're going direct to deck. That way you don't end up with a bunch of extra screws. It comes with the rail mounting hardware, which is a T-bolt and a nut, as well as 3 tubes of Duralink 50 sealant or GeoCell 4500. So you've got everything you need. You don't have to buy your own sealant. It comes in the box with your FlashLoc. And that's the same with our standard FlashLoc or our FlashLoc DUO. So you can see Tom has installed one. That one, for those of you who are close enough to see it, it's in a rafter, so we only use 2 deck screws to install that. When installing these, we do recommend that you use a drill and not a impact gun, and that's just to ensure that you don't strip out the deck. Decks, especially on older roofs, can be a little bit more fragile than just going straight to a rafter, and so if you hit it with an impact gun, you run a higher risk of stripping that screw out. So I'm going to pass this around. You guys can start kind of looking at it and see what you think. If you want more information on that, we do have a very fleshed out YouTube channel, and so there's a tips and tricks video that shows you how to install it and what comes in the kit specifically. We also have a decent amount of literature on it on our website if you want to read into that, and we're always putting out a little bit more information on that every day. So that's a brand new product. It's what Tom is installing right now with his layout. So might give him just a sec. Any questions thus far on FlashLoc DUO? Anything on the comments or anything here? We're good to go.
There's a question about the warranty.
Okay, yeah. So every Unirac product is comes with our 25-year warranty. That's whether it's the FlashLoc DUO, if it's the rails, it's anything that we sell carries the same 25-year warranty. We did that for Master Panels. Just a little bit of background on Unirac, and I kind of cover that well. He installs. We've been in the business since 1998, I believe. So over 20 years. We were the first racking company to surpass the 20-year warranty. So we went to 25. So it's a bankable warranty. We've been in the business for a very long time. And any product that we show today, or any product that we sell, carries that same warranty. Does that answer that?
Yep.
Okay. Sweet. I'm going to give Tom a little bit of time there, but stick on the FlashLoc sort of EBOS line. So the next product that is new and exciting, it utilizes our same FlashLoc technology in a junction box. This is our Solobox. It's a junction box that you can use either for attic runs or you can actually rail mount it super quick and easy. If you are to do an attic run, you would cut your shingles where you need to. This, you don't actually have to flash around it. The only time you'd really need to cut shingles is to make sure you're installing on a flat surface. So if you had a shingle that overlapped right here, you cut one of your shingles away. Then you install this deflector under the shingle course above to give it a little bit of a deflection on any water coming down the roof. We recommend you put a little bit of sealant here just to help with that. But then you secure it to the deck with 4 deck screws here on the inside of the Solobox. Once those screws are in place, you can either drill straight through the box, or if you'd like to pre-mark and pre-drill your holes, this deflector actually pops out and works as an alignment tool. There's an arrow, and I can pass this around. You guys can take it apart and take a little bit closer of a look for those of you guys watching. There's an arrow up top that you align with your first course of shingles here, and then you mark at this arrow. Then you twist it that way. Oh, sorry. There you go. Twist it that way. There are 2 drill markers. You mark those drill marks drill your hole into the roof, and it'll be perfectly aligned when you go to install your Solobox. But once you do that, secure it with the 4 injections on the inside. We recommend just putting a little bit of pressure on the top of the box. Then you inject your sealant through a injection port on the side of the box there, and so it injects on an ejection port on this side of the box here. And that way your sealant flows directly through these channels and out the other side, and you know your box is sealed. That pressure seal drives all of the air out. It's cool. We tested on like plexiglass, and it's kind of fun to watch it if you're into that. But from there, we do have a version of this product that comes with a pre-installed DIN rail, if you'd like a DIN rail. Otherwise, there are mounting points in here for any extra electrical accessories that you need to mount in your home. Outside of that, you do what you need to do, secure the box and close it. If you want to do a rail mount, it's very easy to take that out, flip this over, and you have 2 mounting holes here, and the mounting screws actually come with the box. In that instance, we sell a J-box mounting bracket, and that pairs with those 2 mounting locations. So you got those there, J-box mounting bracket there, and simply just mount it on there. And then this actually clicks on the top of both our standard and our light rail. You just hang it there. So it's a nice box. You can do both with it. This carries our same 25-year warranty. It also, I think it's got a NEMA 3R rating, standard sort of electrical component stuff. So if you have any questions on this, let me know. Are there any questions in the chat as we move along?
No, for now.
Not for now. Ooh. All right, we can check in with Tom. He's installing, so what he's installing is our light rail system. For Florida folks, our solar mount system is actually the first and only rail system that carries a Miami-Dade NOA, so that helps expedite the permitting process a lot. If you do a lot of work in NOA, solar mount's a great option for you because we have that NOA built in already. And we're working on getting some of our other products into that NOA as well. So solar mount is in. You can use it in Miami. And additional sort of attachments you can explain very quickly on that. Additionally, you can kind of see what Tom's done. If you look, I don't know if you can see it online, but you can certainly see it in-house. Tom's done 2 FlashLoc DUOs on the 2 edges into the rafter. The middle one, he's installed all of the screws and gone direct to deck. Right now, he's installing his T-bolts. Those T-bolts are included in the kit, so he didn't have to go pull any ports or go buy anything extra. They're all with the kit, so he's ready to go. Soon, he'll be ready for panels, but maybe before then, I'll talk a little bit about wire management. This is our solar tray wire management system. It's part of our EBOS line. So if you go onto our website, under accessories, there's an entire EBOS section. This product can be found there. This is a wire management tray that simply just hangs on the rail, and I'll show that in a sec. You hang it on the rail, and it's a drop-and-go wire management system. You just install your wires as you go. It keeps your wires elevated off the roof and makes it so you don't have to use a lot of clips or zip ties. It's about the length of a panel, so you can use it per panel. We've also seen folks stagger them out if you don't have enough for whatever reason. They also provide protection all the way around your PV wires. So if you have printer problems or want to keep just a little bit more protection on your PV wires, this serves as a great way to do it. This is our east-west solar tray. There is also a north-south wire management option, and it's effectively the same tray, but there's a little clip you slide on the edge, the top slot on your rail on the edge, and it simply clicks into place. And you can do your north-south wire runs along with your east-west runs. For those of you guys in-house, that's actually shown on our tabletop that we have here. We also have our standard FlashLoc if you guys want. You guys have a chance to take a look at that. So this is our solar tray. You can actually see Tom installing the north-south wire management run right now. So he installed his clips, and now that wire tray is in place, and then he can drop his solar tray, and he's got a little bit installed on the back side. So it's there for you. With his rails in place, are you starting to drop in clamps?
Put this up? Oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah. For the wire management?
For his MLPE device, and he's going to show some of his wire management. And it's tough to see, guys in house. If you guys want to get closer, you can. Don't block the camera. Microinverters, we just have a standard T-bolt, pops in the top. That's just pretty standard way of doing stuff with those. He's going to get that in, do his wire management, and then he'll be ready for clamps. I can talk a little bit about the clamps now. I'll pause for questions. Anything from you guys so far? In studio? All right, and then nothing in the chat. Beautiful. So you can see Tom's just laying down the wires, and it's going super quick. They're not on the roof surface, and they'll stay off the roof surface. It's nice because it just gives you that peace of mind that you're not going to get a call back for a wire drooping. A lot of times, zip ties and even clips can sometimes move together over time, and what was a good wire management job 1 year starts to droop the next. All right.
Ready for a panel.
So another big improvement that we made to the solar mount system this year is the launch of our universal AFs. That's our universal aesthetic fastener. It's a mid and an end clamp, and we have a few of these. We can pass them around. I'll start with the mid clamp. They are half-inch module gap, half-inch tool, which matches the rest of the system, so you've got a one-tool installation. The top of the clamp is actually fixed to the T-bolt, and so you can tell that it's engaged. It's a way of guaranteeing T-bolt engagement. You need help, Tom?
No, I'm okay. You just tracking it back? Yeah.
He's the man. But the T-bolt and the top of the clamp are locked together, so once you twist the top of the mid clamp, it is engaged in the top of the rail, and you don't have to worry about that. So for those of you kind of watching, there we go. For those of you guys watching, the top of this is engaged there, so when you twist it in place, your clamp is sitting in place, and you know that your T-bolt's engaged, so there aren't any false positives on that front. It also sits in the rail very nicely. This T-bolt interface is designed so that it won't rock out of place. That's our mid clamp. Bonding comes in mill, dark, kind of the standard things there. Our end clamps, universal through 30 millimeters through 40. So if you guys are using those newer 30 millimeter modules, these will hold up for you. The end clamps are a universal end clamp. These two will cover module sizes 30 millimeter through 40. The way that you adjust them to your module is with a click, and it just clicks in place. Depending on your module size, and for you folks at home, you get the clicking action, then you tighten it down. They sit in the rail very nicely. They actually get captured in this kind of cage here, which holds that in place. These also have that feature where the top of the clamp is locked with the T-bolt, locked in place, and you're ready to go. They have aesthetic side caps so that you don't have to see any metal on the roof. The other nice thing from an aesthetic standpoint is you can actually cut the edge of your rail flush with the edge of this clamp and install an end cap and really have a refined finish on the edges of your modules. Our end caps are universal for our standard and our light rig. You don't have to buy a separate end cap for either rail type, depending on what you're doing. The other nice thing about this is the bolt heads do not spin. So if you're installing these, with other clamps, you have a situation where your bolt head actually spins and tightens down on the module, which risks a little bit of damage to the module. With these, the bolt head spins on the top of the clamp, so any damage to your module is mitigated from that. And the only place where you're having any damage to the module is with the bonding pin, which is supposed to happen. And it's a very small place. If you have to move your module, you're not going to see any of that from the street, any potential damage there. So that's our universal AF. We do have videos on this online if you check our YouTube channel and literature on our website. Is there any questions on universal AF? Yeah, it'll work on any. Do you mean just like on any rail? Yeah. It clicks. Yeah, just any. If you've got a top slide, it'll slide right in there. Are there any questions in the comments?
is a question about spans.
Yes.
And the question is, hold on a second. I'm trying to go farther up. What is the spacing, what is the rafter spacing as far as between penetrations on direct-to-deck?
On direct-to-deck, well, I mean, even with rafter attachments, it does really. So the question is, yeah, what is the spacing on direct-to-deck for your attachment spaces? That really depends on where you're installing. I know, so in Florida, you're going to be up against high winds in some places naturally. And if you're going direct-to-deck, you're not going to have the same spans direct-to-deck as you would to a rafter attachment, especially if you're going fully direct-to-deck. In situations where you're just sort of making up for a gap, so if you're rafter attaching on everything and maybe you have one that, whatever, for a cantilever reason or something like that, that span's usually the average of whatever your direct-to-deck span would be and what your rafter span would be. They sort of split the difference and bring it in. But it's super job dependent. It depends on how much wind you're dealing with. If you're online and you have to deal with snow, snow can play into that a lot. So it's hard to have a straightforward answer on that one. Not all of them. So in Miami-Dade, I've talked a lot about FlashLoc. We also have our Flash Kit Pro, which is just a standard flashing option. We have a few of them over here, but it's a flashing and an L-foot like what you're seeing traditionally. The Flash Kit Pro paired with solar mount is approved in Miami-Dade. FlashLoc will be very shortly after. And then our Pro Series clamps are approved in Miami-Dade. These, because they're new, are coming pretty quickly. You should see that around the same time that FlashLoc comes out. So, that answers that? Cool. All right. Well, Tom is kind of finished up here. I don't know if you guys want to take a look at the SM system. Do we have time for SFM? We can roll really quick. All right. All right, so that's about everything on the solar mount system. Any high-level questions on that, and then we might take this down and really quickly do a power round on SFM. Sweet. All right, cool. Take it off. All right, I mean, just take it down.
Yeah.
Or do you need one?
Module won't fit.
Just one module's fine. Okay, so we are going to do a very fast one module installation of our FFM product. This is our railless product. It's a little different than your standard rail, being that it's a shared rail system. So instead of having 2 rows of rails per panel, you're going to be installing them and sharing one row. The nice thing about that is you have 20% fewer attachments on every roof, which is a big deal in that you're just making fewer holes on the roof. It is rated for 60 PSF snow up to 190 mile-an-hour winds. It's really nice from an aesthetic standpoint. We have a front trim rail that we'll show you that actually is designed to sort of bridge the gap between rail use and rail-less use. Our system's a little bit proprietary in the sense that when you install that front trim rail, it aligns the rest of your system. A lot of other rail systems, that's more of an aesthetic feature and not an actual installation benefit. But it's nice to have that front row, and you'll kind of see what I mean there in a second. It's also a very big deal from an aesthetic standpoint because your front row, since it's part of the system, you don't have a module gap between your first row and your trim rail, which is really nice. From a logistics standpoint, SFM is a very nice product in the sense that the largest piece of that product is our trim rail, which you can kind of see in front. It's the length of a module in landscape. Outside of that, all of the micro rails and splices, which I'll kind of show you as they go up, come in small boxes, so it's very compact and you can fit a lot of product in a truck or a van. We've seen people pile it in a Tesla. So it's very compact, it's nice, it's easy to transport. it's easy to get onto the roof. You're not carrying long rails. You're not carrying a lot of very big, heavy boxes. Everything's really concise. So from the logistics side, it's really cool. I'm going to keep kind of talking through the products. Let me see. Do we have a micro rail, Andy? So these are sort of the core components outside of the trim rail, which you guys will see here is the micro rail and the splice. These components are universal for 30 millimeters through 40 millimeters. 30 millimeters is kind of new, so if you have a 30 millimeter job, it is actually a different micro rail and splice SKU. For 32 through 40, you're covered with these components. This is our micro rail. For those of you online, the way these work is they slide in place. Once your trim rail is installed, your module mounts in your trim rail, rocks into place, and then your module slides in, and you tighten this down to the module height, and then you tighten this down. Once that's tightened down, this side actually opens up to capture the next module. So this side is tight, but you can install your next module. The reason that's very nice is because you're working at your feet instead of trying to lean over panels trying to tighten things. So once your next row of modules is ready, you drop that in place, drop the module in, and then you tighten your next micro rail. This is our splice for when modules come together. What you're basically doing is you're making the back edge of the module into the rail, and that is your structural component of the system. So what this does is it bridges those modules together, holds them in place, keeps them from rocking around. The other very nice thing about this system, and I'll have Tom show you in a minute, is it has post-install height adjustment. So once everything's installed, if you notice a corner is high or low or something like that, you simply insert a tool from the top of this, tighten it up or down, and you get 1.5 inches or variability up and down on that. So if you have leveling issues or a roof that undulates a ton, you can do all your leveling after the system's installed. So what Tom's done right here is he's installed his trim rail. You guys see there's sort of a silver thing poking out. That's our trim. So if you had to splice together multiple trim pieces going that way, that's the piece you'd use. It is toolless, so you just kind of push it in place, and once it's in, it's good. You put your next splice in, and it's or you put your next trim piece in, and it's good to go. The component, let's see, that goes in on is our trim. So this is our trim attachment, L-foot, for those of you guys who see it here. So this is your first step in SFM. Once you get your layout done, you put these in for your front row. This is what that trim attachment attaches to. It looks a lot like a rail L-foot. The nice thing is you have adjustment north-south on this piece. For those of you guys seeing that there. And you use this tool to loosen it, move it north-south as needed. You put a string line, get it in place, lock everything down, install your front row. Once that front row is installed, your system is straight going up, which is extremely nice as you go. The next piece after that is actually our slider. So these would be the next row. So you'd attach this piece on top of a standard flashing. This gives you 6 inches of adjustment, and if you need more, if your panel falls outside of where this slider goes, you can actually flip it around and notch the shingle on that side, and you get even more adjustment going up the roof, which is really nice because you just get these down, get your micro rails in place, those hook on. Sorry, I did it backwards. Look at me. Once those are in, you drop your panel in place, slide it on this slider to where it needs to go, and then you snap it into place and tighten it down. So this is what's going on your back row, and this is the process for your first panel all the way up for the rest. So super simple once you get everything filled in place. All right. Let's talk bonding. So east-west bonding, it's done through the micro rails and through the trim piece, and I'll show you how the trim piece bonds to the rest of the system. Going north-south, you only have to bond each row going up for a contiguous row of modules. So you only need one bonding piece. That would be it looks a lot like our Pro Series clamps, but it's a north-south bonding clip. And these, a lot of times what I see you guys do is they just install the system at the very end. You just go through each row. This spacing matches the spacing on our micro rails. So our micro rails, it actually matches that exact spacing. So you just slide these in place, tighten them down, and your system's bonded going north-south. You don't have to use bonding bumpers or anything like that. This is our trim bonding clip. This piece is interesting looking, but it just slides into the L slot of the trim rail, and then you tighten this bolt, and as you tighten this bolt, it pushes a bonding pin directly up onto the module, bonding your system to your trim rail. So that's these components. I can pass these around a little bit. You guys can mess around with them. There's that, and bonding device is kind of fun. Let's see.
Caleb, do you want to throw it back to Albuquerque at any point in time?
Yes. I think we'll get Tom to rock a module in place. And we'll attachments put in, and we're good. You have the... Are you going to use a bonding clip? Did I give away the one that you're using?
No, there's two in there. I do need those module clips though, right? It's like the only thing that didn't come.
You're okay. Cool. Any SFM questions, really quickly? And we'll jump to Albuquerque. Any other questions on solar mount, SFM Infinity? Anything you haven't seen?
I think we are good with questions right now.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Right.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Connor and Tom. I think we should, this is Michael here in Boston. This is the amazing thing about this webinar. We can jump all around. But we're going to take you off to New Mexico and to Karen. We're going to introduce you to her. The people that are in the live audience is not going to see that on the screen, but we're going to take you to New Mexico for the online audience. And Karen, thank you for taking over the mic.
Making sure that you guys can see us. I see that we're on the screen right now. My name is Karen Paramanandam. I'm the Sales and Marketing Program Manager here at Unirac. And we're going to give you a little bit of a tour, but have my colleague here too.
Hi, I'm Chris Woodward. I'll be leading the tour. We'll walk around, show you a little bit of the shop. So it might get a little noisy. We'll do what we can so you can hear it, but you'll get to see and feel a little bit about what goes on here in Albuquerque.
Awesome. We're going to walk.
Go.
I'll get the camera in here. We're going to follow Chris Woodward out the door.
And the first part we'll stop at, so Karen can turn the camera around. This is the RM10 manufacturer cell, where we make all of the RM10 bays. So they come in and they work their way around the work cell here. They go from raw, ski, rod, all of it to get assembled, put together, and they come out here ready to go. These ones you see stacked here are waiting for final QC before they get stacked up on a pallet, ready to go. And we'll keep cruising. Pan around and show them. So this is just a taste of our rail. What we keep here is kind of the hot rush special stuff. The vast majority of our rail obviously comes from closer located 3PLs and mills around the country that are closer to the coast, because I'm sure everybody knows shipping rails isn't anybody's favorite thing to do. So what we do here is kind of the special extra attention product here. section over here, it's actually break time. We've got a couple shifts. Through COVID, we've added shifts to spread people out. This section here is all the pre-assembly of the standard plant. So for those of you that know us well enough, we have 3 series of plants right now. We've got standard series, we've got pro series. I think Connor was just talking about the UAF series, the brand new. So the standard series are the ones that are pre-assembled here, ready to go. And then the next table you'll see here is where typically they're packing up all the FlashLoc. So the FlashLoc comes in, and then we add the sealant to it, and then it heads out to get stocked and stored for all the distributor partners that we have, right? CEDD and whatnot. This section in here, you can't really see everything just onto the weld curtains, but this is where we manufacture the URA components. So there's 2 components there. There's the doghouse, and then there's the slider. They get welded together in 2 different orientations, and they provide your front and your rear support for the ULA kind of 2-truss ground mount system. As you come around this side, they are doing some pre-assembly of the Pro Series splice bars. So we cut those on a saw here in the shop. Go over there to get the hardware added to them before they get put in a box. 20, and then head out the door, and away they go. Look over here. So there's 2 work sections here. The further one with the tap arm, that's for our standoffs. They come in various sizes, and then the one closest is our adjustable tilt legs. So he's adding the thread to the cut standoff on that side, and then she's punching the holes through the adjustable tilt legs before they get packed up and again head up front to get. So over there, that might be a cool video with some sparks. But Jay's over there cutting the struts for our RM Bay attachment kits. So he's cutting those down, getting those ready to head up to get packaged. This big blue machine you see here in the foreground, that's our L-foot machine, so our standard L-feet. When it's running, it's cutting, it's shearing, it's punching all of those all at once to come out and get back to head up front again. So over there in the corner, you can kind of see 3 of our CNC saws. Those make a lot of our extrusions. They basically cut a lot of the extrusions down and go. It's not running right now, plus we couldn't go over there anyway because it's super noisy anyway, but you can see the saws that are set up and ready to go.
Chris, while we're walking, how long have you been working at Unirac?
Going on 20 years now.
20 years at Unirac. As Michael Goldberg says, you're an OG employee.
OG, yeah. So this section, and we'll just kind of pause here and stay out of the way. So everything you saw over there is kind of manufactured and built to stock. So they build big pallets, they build quantities, and then they come over here, and this is where they actually pick back all the orders. And actually the big towers of material you see are the trolleys of material that came in from us that they just pulled off containers. But then now they're working on breaking down to go get stocked here in Albuquerque for, again, that rush rail service. You can't see behind me. You can come up here a little bit. That's cool. But we stage all the orders for customers here. So they'll build it based on the orders. And then they come over here and they get staged and they get quality checked. We're one of the only racking companies that have 3 ISO certifications. So 9001 quality, 18001 safety, and 14001 environmental. Maybe I messed those numbers up, but it's still 3. And part of that process, come on through, man. Part of that process is our, very, very structured way that we go through and check things and recheck things and make sure that what goes out, 1, has plenty in a box, 1, is assembled properly, 2, there's the right amount on that pallet in that order, ready to go. But that kind of in a nutshell is all things Unirac. There's some offices, but those are boring. Nobody really cares about carpet. Concrete's way more fun. But yeah, that's kind of the Albuquerque facility headquarter here. Just over 100 employees now here. So yeah, it's definitely exciting.
back to you guys.
Thank you very much, guys, for that tour of the Albuquerque facility. I'm going to share my screen. I'm Michael Goldberg again. I want to personally thank everyone that's in person in Orlando and the Orlando team for CED Green Tech for putting on and hosting this event at your facility. We really appreciate that, and thank you very, very much. If you have any questions at all, you can email us at hello@cedgreentech.com. And show our screen, and you can show that again. But please contact us, and we will keep the conversation going and introduce you to the correct folks at CED Green Tech to help you with any of your needs and any of your Unirac needs in particular.
Well, thanks so much.
Thank you very much, and have a great day.
Stay